From sea to shining sea, every region of our country has a pizza style, and pizza shops and home cooks all make a version of it. Join me today while I make my family's favorite Sicilian style pizza. Sicilian style pizza isn't just any pizza baked into a rectangular shape. It's perhaps best described as a little bready and like a focaccia. Sicilian style pizza is never sauced. It doesn't have thick layers of ooey gooey cheese or heavy toppings. When you think about Sicilian style pizza, think moderation. Thin layers of sauce and cheese with lightly sprinkled toppings. So in the bread pan of my bread machine, I'm going to start by adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil. A cup and a half of warm water. And next, I'm going to scoop in 4½ cups of flour, and I've got also 2 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of sugar in here. And scooping is wise because if I dump all of this up in here, I'm going to get flour in the face. That'll all come down all at once now. There we go. And the next step is optional, but I like to put a few flavors into my pizza dough. And I'm going to add a teaspoon of cracked black pepper, a teaspoon of Mediterranean oregano, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. Lastly, I'm going to take my impeccably clean index finger and make a little well in the top of the flour. I'm going to add 1 packet of granulated yeast. I don't use rapid rise, but it won't make any difference to the bread machine if you do. I'm adding that to the well, and I'm just going to pop this into my bread machine and turn it on. Let's talk toppings. My family likes mozzarella and provolone cheese on their pizza, and while I like grated cheese, I don't use it on Sicilian style pie. There's more. Most folks purchase store-bought sauce. While I won't call the food police, I prefer my own. I make it and freeze it. Similar to marinara sauce, it's not too sweet and full of good stuff like fresh tomatoes, garlic, onions, fresh basil, and red pepper flakes for some heat. Lastly, all it needs is a sprinkling of Parmesan, oregano, and we're ready to go in the oven. My dough is out of the bread machine, and my recipe, as measured, gives me 2 pounds of pizza dough, which is enough for 2 pizzas. And I've oiled 2 rectangular baking pans, and with well-oiled fingertips, I'm going to just begin, one at a time, patting and pressing this into the corners of the pan to form a nice, even crust across the bottom with pretty sides around the sides. And I don't ever try to force it. Sometimes I actually stop for 30, 60 seconds and give it a chance to relax itself a little bit. That's key. Pizza dough is, by the way, never rolled. It's always either twirled up in the air or patted and pressed into a pan. In real time, that took me about 4 or 5 minutes to pat and press that dough out, as well as the second pizza. And I'm going to start layering my cheeses, and I like to put the provolone on the bottom. And I'm just going to gently pat and press that into the corners. Sicilian style, what did I say? Think thin layers of sauce and cheese. This guarantees thin layers of sauce and cheese. Something I do here is, you're going to see, I'm going to just randomly break this piece into some smaller pieces to make sure I have an even layer. I'll do that again. Fill in these spaces. I'm going to use that second half of cheese to do the same thing over here. Now I'm going to sauce. I'm going to do this very judiciously. And what I like to do is I start by just putting a few tablespoons across the top. And then I work my sauce into the corners of the pie so that I don't kind of get it all dribbled on the sides of the crust. And I'm spreading a thin layer of sauce. Doesn't that look wonderful with those pieces of basil and onions and garlic? As you can see, a little bit of sauce really does go a long way. Now I'm going to layer my mozzarella on top. Mozzarella is square, so this kind of works out great. And 8 pieces here. After this bakes, you won't even be able to tell that I didn't use grated cheese on this pizza. Now, right now, what you have is a pie that's got it's a foil or a blank canvas for a sprinkling of cooked sausage, mushrooms, onions, but just a sprinkling. I'm going to leave it blank today, leave it to your imagination. And if I had topped it, or if I don't top it, a little sprinkling of Parmesan to finish it off. That'll give it a little bit of a salty flavor. And I'm using Mediterranean oregano. And I'm not using a lot of it. It's already in my crust, remember. I'm going to put this in a 350-degree oven for about 18 to 21 minutes to bake, and while this is in the oven, I'm going to top my other pizza. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.